Today I'm going to teach you how to make a very delicious recipe. It's kind of different. I don't know if you've ever had it before, but it's a Tikka Masala soup. So you might be familiar with the Tikka Masala. It's like a curried chicken kind of deal. Usually put it like up with rice or whatever. Well, this is going to be more of a soup form. I think it's pretty good. It's kind of spicy. You could change the spices a little bit to make it less spicy, but in the end, I think it's really tasty and only a few ingredients, mostly spices. Well, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, for this really simple recipe, we're going to start off with the good old classic onions, getting sauteed up. I'm using coconut oil for this. If you want to use extra virgin olive oil or one of your favorite oils, go for it. I prefer coconut oil for this situation here. So I'm going to saute up one onion. You keep it cooking until it's about or it's still sort of like a little bit translucent, so a couple minutes. Don't go crazy with it because you're going to be sauteing it up some more with some garlic here in a little bit, but I will cut back when the time comes for that. All right, now that I sauteed up for a while, you can go ahead and get some garlic. I'd say about a clove or two. I'm going to just put a bunch of scoops of the pre-minced garlic in there like I always do, because I love me some garlic. You're going to cook that up for another couple minutes just to get that cooked up in there a little bit and get the fragrance going before you go to the next step. I'll come back when it's done. All right, now that we've sauteed up those garlic and the onions, I got this little mixture here of spices. Let's see if I can get the focus in there on there better. All right, so in this little concoction here, I have a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of ginger, a half teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of turmeric, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I mix those all together because they're all going to go in together anyway. But if you don't go out and buy these separate ingredients, you just want to have something quick to throw in there, you can just use some yellow curry powder. It has all these things in here and then a little bit of extra stuff, but it won't take away from the flavor or change anything. It's going to be pretty much the same taste. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in here with the onions. And then in this little bowl here, I have the garam masala that I used in the Indian butter chicken recipe that I got from that Marna Maria website. I still have the link. I'll be putting it in the description. You still have till December 31st of this year of 2020 to use the discount code that I put in the description. You'll get, I think it's 15% off your purchase from them. I don't get anything benefits from it. I don't get any pay from it or nothing. It's just I want to help them out because I get a lot of spices from them and they have some really cheap spices and they have pretty much any spice you're looking for. But anyway, I'm going to put this garam masala in there. Go ahead and mix it up with all the onions and garlic. And you're going to cook up those onions and garlic a little bit longer, probably about another 3 minutes, and you'll start smelling the fragrances from all those spices you threw in there. You'll start smelling them radiating through the house and make your house smell amazing. Anyway, I'll cut back to you when it's time for the next step. Alrighty then. Now it's cooked up, my house smells fantastic right now. So now you're going to go ahead and add chicken stock. You only need about 2 cups of this if you're making just a few servings. I'm going to be putting a lot more in because I'm making enough for a big old family. So I'm going to be putting a whole big can in there. And then some crushed tomatoes. I'm using about a 28 ounce can. You could use less. I'd recommend using the same amount just because you want to get that flavor in there. Mix that up a little bit. All right. And then lastly, you want to get a nice like 14 ounce can of coconut cream. Don't confuse it with coconut milk. This is the unsweetened cream. And if you add coconut milk, it won't really hurt it too much, but it will change the flavor of it and it'll be more liquidy. The cream is a little bit thicker. If you don't want to use coconut cream or you can't find coconut cream, just try using like some heavy cream or try different substitutes for it. I wouldn't use like milk or anything. It'd be too thin unless you have maybe some milk and flour mixture together. And mix that up. And what you're going to do then is you're going to go ahead and, as you put all that in there, you're going to go ahead and let it cook for about 30 minutes. I would say cover it up, bring it up to a boil, let it simmer down a little bit. I will come back to you. Mine's all ready to go. In the meantime, what I did with my chicken, even though you've seen it here in the corner of the thing, is I've cooked up some chicken. I cut it up, cooked it up with some oil, and I threw all the same seasonings I put into the soup on the chicken. You don't have to do that. I just obviously still cook the chicken because the chicken's not going to be cooking with the soup. But cook up the chicken. You can do it just plain old salt and pepper if you want on it. You can do it however it's going to get mixed in with the soup anyway. I just want to add more flavor, so I go ahead and I put all the same ingredients on my chicken and cooked it up. So that's why it has that different tint to it and everything. It's pretty much like covering it in curry powder and cooking it up. But I'll go ahead and bring it back to you guys once my soup is ready to go for the next step. Alrighty then, I had it cooking for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and use my new fancy dancy immersion blender. Normally what I'd do is I'd scoop the soup out and put it into a blender or food processor and blend it up and pour it back in. But I finally invested this thing to save me some time. I haven't used it yet, so hopefully it works. But this is just to get the big chunks of tomato all cut up. If you don't want to cut tomatoes up, then you can just skip this step and go on to the next step. But I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna stick this in there, blend it up until I feel it's nice and smooth. And then I'll go ahead and go to the next step, but I'll cut back to you guys because it's probably gonna make a lot of noise. All right, I blended that all up. It took me a few minutes. There's no big chunks in there, but if I had bigger tomato chunks, it'd take a little bit longer. I'm gonna go ahead and put all that chicken in that I cooked earlier, I told you about. Like I said, you don't have to season it up and cook it with the seasonings on it. You could just cook it plain and throw it in because it's gonna mix with the soup anyway. I just wanted to get a little extra flavor in the chicken. Go ahead and mix that up in there. And let it cook just for a few more minutes just to make sure everything's cooked up, make sure the chicken is completely cooked up and mixes with everything, and then you're ready for plating. And there you have it. Told you, nice and simple. The longest part is just cooking the soup all up together for about 30 minutes. And other than that, it's just slapping all the ingredients together, sauteing, makes your house smell amazing. And makes your mouth water the whole time you're making it. If you don't want to use cook your own chicken, you can always get those pre-canned chickens. I use them a lot still for my curries and stuff just because they're easier. They're already cooked. You just open them up, drop them into the thing. It's like tuna kind of. Anyway, if there's anything else you'd add or subtract from this recipe, please feel free to put it in the comments down below and give some other people and myself some new ideas. While you're down there, feel free to hit the little subscribe button and a little bell doohickey so you know when I post more videos. I try to post every week. It's usually food related, mostly recipes. Sometimes I like to do reviews and stuff too. Anyway, see you around.